Hey everybody, welcome back once again to American Legends and Myths with Lale and Shaky. We are back with Zach Starrick. We're going to try to get this interview done again this time due to my end of having technical difficulties. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mothman, and then we'll go into some of Zach's encounters he's having on his place up there in Illinois. How you doing?
I have had a busy day, but I'm doing fine. How are you all doing?
I'm doing good, and our special guest, Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Well, thanks for having me on the show.
Hey man, I'm glad we got you again. I'm glad we can work this out. It's great to have you.
Me too.
I'm great to be here.
So let's jump into this a little bit with that Mothman. We were talking about how he shows up right before disaster, and you had mentioned something about tornadoes. Fill us in a little bit on what happened in Southern Illinois.
Well, I really did start finding out that the Mothman was being reported here in Southern Illinois late this year, actually, whenever they was doing a memorial for the tornado victims. See, there was about 20 or 30 people that died in that tornado, and it was an F5 tornado that happened. And then leading up, I had one of my buddies who saw my research in the team page here on Facebook. And he said, I've had an encounter I'd like to tell you about. And I said, all right. He told me about he worked down at the strip mine that's down south of Harrisburg, and he said that he was going home from work one morning at 7 o'clock, and he saw something out of the corner of his eye, and the Mothman was hanging from the side of the towers, the radio tower down by the mine, and he said he saw the silhouette, he said he saw it open its wings and everything, and he said he saw the red eyes that stood out mostly to him. And he said this thing looked just like a man with wings.
Wow. Wow.
Now, are these you were talking about strip mines? Are they anywhere near the bunkers from World War II?
Actually, Southern Illinois is known for its coal industry, so there's not really any bunkers or anything. There's very few factories around here. The only big plant that's around here is the Lake of Egypt power plant, and that's about 20, 30 miles south of where I am. There's not any known bunkers out here because we weren't really much of a hub during the World Wars and stuff like that. We're just basically a coal country, pretty much.
Mm. That's what
Well,
yeah.
coal mines and bunkers aren't the same thing at all, but they are similar in the aspect of you can go down there underground and you can go, it's like a cave underground.
But you're right there, the little mine shafts and everything. I hear that with the coal industry being on its ears with these lately, there's been a lot of mines shutting down and everything. They've been shutting off the old shafts and everything, but there still is mysterious sightings around. Because I only live a few miles from an old Brushy Creek mine that's where my name works. It's only about 3 miles on the other side of the county line. And we've had reports that there's been something sighted out there, but we can't go out on the land to investigate because it's all private land and it's all guarded by security.
And it isn't Point Pleasant, that's where the bridge collapsed, correct?
Yeah, Point Pleasant, yeah.
Okay, isn't that next to, you're in Illinois, and isn't that right next to the state line?
No, that's West Virginia and Ohio.
But isn't a river, isn't there, that's West Virginia and Ohio. I was thinking there was a river that connected into from one place to the other.
That I'm not sure about.
Into the next state. Maybe it was Ohio and not Illinois. When did the what year was this tornado, Zach?
Let's see. The last time we had a leap year, not this year, but last time, so 4 years ago.
So 2012.
Yeah.
And there were reports of seeing him on what, the radio towers?
Yeah, it was on, like the radio towers, the telephone towers and stuff like that, where he was seen, just hanging around those, just up high up, because we got the high radio towers that's on top of these bluffs and these mountains here in Southern Illinois, and it's, so you go up to the very top or near the top, you have a good vantage point where you can see for miles and miles around.
Okay, well, with the bridge collapse way back when, and the sightings on so it seems he stays up high, which you would assume, I guess, a flying creature would um, sit up high on radio towers or the tops of bridges or whatever. Are there any stories or tales from your neck of the woods that have that tell any why or what or where what the Mothman is, or where he may have came from, or did he just appear out of the blue?
Well, I was actually doing the research, and people say that with Mothman, I found on one research site, it's supposed to be demonic kind of backstory to it. It was supposed to be a spirit of vengeance and stuff like that. That was supposed to have vengeance for the people that summoned it. And for some reason, someone summoned it, scared the crap out of people or get at somebody for the reason of the bridge collapse. I have no idea. But Mothman really started Endpoint Pleasant, and it's I believe it to be a harbinger of doom and bad omen of bad things to come. Like you guys were talking on the first show, talking about before Chernobyl's nuclear meltdown, and before the tornado, before the Silver Bridge collapse. There was actually, I saw on the news, it was years before the Lee Day tornado comes to Harrisburg, Illinois. That there was a bridge collapse in Minnesota, I think in Minneapolis, I think it was Bruce. If not, you have to correct me, check my source. But he was sighted in the days before that bridge collapse. It's a major metropolitan highway.
Wow. Steve, have you got any questions?
That's pretty wild. Hey, do you think that people are getting that Mothman and that Bat Squatch thing mixed up? You think that's where Bat Squatch came from?
Honestly, I mean, you got the two different descriptions. The Sasquatch is anywhere from 8 to 12 feet tall, 500 to 1,500 pounds in range, and it does have the glowing eyes, but it has red eye cover. Sometimes you'll find they have like yellow, neon green,
Not
light gun.
not Sasquatch, Bat Squatch. The Sasquatch with the bat wings. The Bat Squatch that people say they've seen.
Oh, Sasquatch.
Yeah, you know.
Well, it still goes along with the same reports as a Bigfoot. It's just got bat-like wings. I've heard and read about the Sasquatch from out of Texas.
Kind of. If you listen to them, the descriptions are kind of eerie, aren't they? Kind of about the same, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and it was very similar. Of course, I think it may be like Massachusetts and stuff like that. With the bad squashes and everything, but whenever it comes to Mothman, I do believe someone's seeing something. But whenever it comes to the bad squash, I kind of think someone's just having like a knockoff version of Mothman for their area, you know?
If I'm a firm believer. Once if something can hide during the day, once that sun goes down, there's a lot of area to roam at night, especially if it can fly.
I agree. Even if it can't. I agree. Zach, I have another question, and I meant to research this, and I did not get a chance to. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. You may know more about it than I do. I remember a story back in I believe it was in the 1800s. It was a Mothman type thing that showed up in this small town. I guess it was a decent sized town, but small by our standards. And a number of people saw it, and seems like there was a doctor or somebody that lived in town that saw it out their window at night, and the whole town kind of freaked out over it. A number of people saw it, but they never could catch it, kill it, or figure out what it was. Have you heard that story of the Mothman? If not, for a future episode, I'll try and look it back up again and see. I feel certain it was the Mothman because it was flying. Have you've not ever heard that story?
I've heard a similar story about the Van Meter monster. It was supposed to be like a giant humanoid bat-like creature. Kind of if you've heard of the Fukubawa, it's out of the Pacific Islands. It's supposed to be a humanoid bat creature with one eye, and it's supposed to have like a luminescence to it. And it's doing the same thing. And the doctor in the case that I've read about, he saw the thing and he fired a few shots at it, and it let loose this noxious gas, and it like knocked him out, and to the point
Yeah.
where he knocked out to the point he come back to consciousness. He couldn't remember a thing that happened.
Yes, I think that's the same story. That was very interesting. I need to look that back up again and read up on it again.
Was hiding, and there was a coal mine on the outside town, and they blew the gas and took in the main gas so that way that the thing couldn't get out.
And they never could find it, catch it.
No, they tried, but it was all their efforts wasn't no good. It never produced any evidence. All they had was the eyewitness account.
Right. I think that's the same story. I'm gonna try and look that up again, and read more. I've read about it, but it's been a good while back, and I don't remember the details, so I need to refresh myself on that. Um, I got another question, but it left my mind for a second. Steve, you got anything to say?
No, that sounds pretty cool.
Um, there was something else. I guess we could come back to it if I remember it. I make notes and I still forget things. I'm getting older. uh,
But let me tell you this one, that's very synonymous with Illinois. It's called the Piazza bird, which is it's an old Native American dragon style creature, and there's actually I read in a book called Weird Illinois. As the story goes, the Piazza was supposed to be have the head of a man, horns of a deer, the feet of a gray eagle, the wings of an eagle, and body of a bear. And its tail could wrap around its body 3 times. And it was the chief of the tribe. Got together his most loyal and strongest braves of the tribe, and they found where the creature was nesting, and they fired their arrows, and they killed the creature. And there's a place, I think, in Alton, Illinois, where you can go, and they have a mural of the Piazza, the bird, and there's been several expeditions to find where the so-called cave and nest was, where this thing was supposed to be roosting. But I do have a mural on the rock all above the Mississippi River to the Piazza.
that's interesting. What is there anything else? Do the Native Americans in that area have any other stories of the Mothman or something that was similar other than that story?
We do have reports of thunderbirds in Illinois.
Oh yeah, the Thunderbird. Yeah, I've heard of the Thunderbird. Do you know what type of bird is a Thunderbird supposed to be, or is it a mystery today as to what it was?
There are several adaptations and ideals of what the thunderbird should be like. Some people say it looks like a pterosaur, an old dinosaur. Some people say it's a rock from that was a giant bird, I believe, in Norse mythology. That's been reported to. Some say it has 2 heads. Some say it's as big as a bus.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching a documentary on the thing, and it was reported up north. It was in the northern counties of Illinois. I don't remember where though. But this one boy was out playing hide and seek with his buddy, and when his buddy went to hide, the kid was counting. And he said, "Ray, you're not here I come," and he was looking for the creek. He was looking for his buddy, and the thing come out of the ground and grabbed him by his collar, his shirt, and like lifted him up in the air and take off with him.
I had seen that story. Was it like a reenactment from the 70s or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that. In fact, today, um, not quite the same thing, but I shared a post today of either an eagle or a big hawk or something picking up a baby that was sitting
And
on the ground.
giant hawk.
And it got the baby, I don't know, several feet off the ground and dropped it. And the baby was fine.
That one that's in the park?
Yes.
It's not real.
Well, thank God.
You're animated.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a golden eagle or something snatching a kid or something in the park or something. Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, is what last I heard, that wasn't supposed to be real, but I don't know. You know, I mean, the cops were walking kids to school up in Alaska because the eagles are attacking them. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Look at that water right there.
And if that baby didn't get picked up by a bird, then thank goodness. I'm glad. But yes, we do have a lot of reports of little kids that do, and little dogs, and we have bald eagles here. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Zach. What?
I was just looking at my records here, and I found the story that we were just talking about. It says among the most controversial reports of the Thunderbird is the July 25th, 1977 account from Lawndale, Illinois. About 9 p.m., a group of three boys were playing in a residential backyard. Two large birds approached and hit the boys. Two escaped unharmed, but the third boy, 10-year-old Marlon Lowe, wasn't so lucky. One of the birds reportedly clamped his shoulder with its claws and let Lowe about 2 feet off the ground, carried him some distance. Lowe fought against the bird, which released him.
Yeah. So you never know.
The reports of the description match the reports of an Andean condor, which is a large black bird with a white ring neck and a wingspan of up to 10 foot.
Was that on that show Monsters or something? That show come on History Channel?
Monster Quest.
Yeah, Monster Quest. And it's in the beginning of that show, they show the little kid running and the birds coming in from behind and snatch his ass up.
Yeah, might have been.
Story. That's funny.
But I don't know, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm too trusting, but when people recount stories from the 60s or the 70s or way back, I just feel like they might be more probable than nowadays. You know, people didn't make up so much and hoax so much and whatever back then because there was no need to. You know, we have social media now and it's more fun and it's easier, but people who have stuck to their stories for 40 years or 50 or 60, I tend to believe them a little more.
Well,
Whether that's right or wrong. Go ahead, Steve.
No, change the subject.
Yeah, let's move on if you want to Steve, did you have Zach, did you have anything else to add about Mothman before we move on?
I can say is, for right now, my team, the Southern Illinois Moth Hunter team, is still have that on our list to investigate this year, and hopefully we'll have some more evidence right before the year's end.
Keep up with it, please, and let us know, because we're interested.
And I'm going to put this out there, a little plug for my Facebook page. For everyone that's listening, if you want to stay up to date with Illinois Monster Hunter findings and the latest investigations, go to facebook.com, type in Southern Illinois Monster Hunters Team homepage, and click the like button and share it with your friends. You can stay up to date with all that's going on with the team.
Cool. Good plug. All right. Let's move on, Steve. You go ahead.
Yeah, we're on the subject of thunder. Tell us what's going on with this thunder on the mountain problem.
You're talking about the thunder Thunder Giant, huh?
Yeah, let's throw some on the Thunder Giant.
Yeah, Thunder Giant. He's a Bigfoot that comes through here about once or twice a year. Big brother. He's about anywhere from 8 to 10 feet tall, 1,600 pounds. He's he's probably about maybe 4.5, 5 foot across the shoulder, across his back and his shoulders. And he has massive gray fur, and he's very, very active around thunderstorm time.
Now, is this the one that whacked you on your ATV?
Yep. Yep.
And knocked you off?
And you talk about getting wrecked. I'm telling you, he hit hard. But you felt like getting hit by a truck.
I have a question about that. How the hell did you get back on the ATV and ride off? Was he still standing there, or what?
What happened was, when the guy investigated, it was back in July. The whole thing was supposed to go with it, but everything, everything with Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, everybody couldn't come along, so I said, heck with this, I'm doing this myself. And I loaded up the mule. We got a Kawasaki mule, but kind of like a gator. And I went back on the mountain, and I had my spotlight with me, my headlamp. I had that handle, 3 knots with, and I had my shotgun. And I was attacked about 11 o'clock. But leading up to that, I was hearing them. I just stopped and did a 10-minute tree knocking section on the northern end of Wildcat Mountain, which is a bluff on my property. And I heard them knock 2 rocks together down the foot of the hill. And I said, well, I'm sitting there thinking, well, they're in here for sure. So I just continued on with what I was doing. I got to the crest of the mountain, and I was stopped. I just stopped there. I need to stop here for some reason. I was knocking on the tree. I'm knocking on the old history tree. And all the lights are off. And I hear over my shoulder, I hear Zach. And I look over my shoulder, and there's no one there, and it was in my mother's voice that I heard my name called. My mom was 10 miles away back home.
They mimic.
And I think that there may be a paranormal tie with this thunder giant, because of people would go and have a report with them. They don't say they hear a voice of loved one. And if I'd gone I went back with the next day. If I had gone 10 yards where I heard my mom's voice being imitated, I would have gone right off a 30-foot drop down into a hollow and broke my leg. So I guess I kind of made him mad because I didn't know come to him whenever he wanted. So I went further on down the trail, and I stopped, and I was sitting there just listening to see if I could hear anything like any deer going through the woods, or if I could hear any sign, any rock splash or tree knot. Well, I hear about 20 yards behind me, I hear a real brisk movement in the leaves. And at first I thought it was deer, so I didn't pay no attention. The next thing you know, you're hearing a thump, 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 crack. And that thing comes and broadsides that hill. And it raises up, it was such a force that raised the right side up off the ground and more or less threw me out the driver's side.
Damn.
And bear in mind, I had no lights on. My spotlight was shut off. The headlamp on my head was off. The headlight on the mule was off, and the engine was off. And I had to get up. I scrambled to get back up after the thing come back down off the ground. And this thing shifted the mule. I had the emergency brake locked up as tight as I could because I was on a steep incline. This thing moved this thing downhill I tremble. I look up over the bed of the mule, and I throw my headlamp on. And this thing is already 40 foot away, booking it down the holler. And it was exactly what I described to you. It was huge. And I was talking about the desire of a friend of mine. I told her, I said, I think one thing that kept me from nothing reaching in there and grabbing me was me having that 20-bit shotgun in my hand whenever it happened.
I have a question or two.
Uh,
I know you live on a farm, ranch type place, right? Does your mother live there?
Yeah, me and my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, and my little brother, we all live on the same stretch of land. We live about 3/10 of a mile, and within walking distance of a 5-minute walk to each other's houses.
Okay. Does your mama ever still go out and yell your name like she did when you were little?
Will on occasion, she'll holler at me and say, Zachary, Sam, get in here. And my legal name is Sam, but I go by Starrick for personal reasons I won't go into. But if I'm in trouble and I hear my full name, I know I'm in trouble. But she never would ever call me by my full name anymore. She just said, hey, Zach, and then that's all I know whenever I know they say I'm in court whenever she calls me by my full name.
Okay. Well, what name did you hear called when you were out on the four-wheeler?
All I heard was Zach. It's the way my mom says whenever she wants to talk to me, she'll say Zach. And I spun around, so I did a full 180, and I was looking around, and my mom knew where I was, but was sick at the time from having heart problems. She said, you go ahead and stay here. If you need me, I'll come get you.
You were too far away from the house that if she had called you, you could have heard it.
I was 10 miles from my house. The only way I could have heard her voice, she called me on the cell phone, and I was in an area where there was no service to receive a call.
Well, if you have Bigfoot that hang out around your property, they could very easily tromp 5 miles, 10 miles, or in the same area. And we know that Bigfoot mimic. Do you think that they maybe had heard your mama call your name?
That's what I think it was. I think it was mimicking my mom's voice to lead me into a trap.
Because we've heard other stories of children coming to the house and saying, "Did you call me?" And their mama said no, and it was Bigfoot just that were always around in the area and had heard mama calling the children, the dogs, whatever, and they mimic. So you think that might be what it was?
Most likely, I think so.
But it stopped you from what did you say? A cliff or something?
Yeah, it was down into it was a straight down vertical drop off of this rock cliff that was about 30 foot down.
Okay.
Down into a creek bed. Whenever it rained, it turned into a waterfall. It was a nice creek bed.
So perhaps it yelled at you to stop you to save you.
I'm ready to laugh.
Oh, look at there.
Let's watch this.
What is that, paintball?
No. That's airsoft.
Oh, okay. So, Zach, do you think it was stopping you or pulling you in?
I think it was luring me in. It was baiting me.
I think he'll do it if they think that they can, if you're by yourself and they can get you and and you know, for whatever reason they want you. I've heard them mimic crows. I've heard them mimic owls. You know, and if you're a target for what they want, why not? If they can get you in there and bust you up enough where they can, I mean, Christ, they can break you up anyway. They can rip you apart. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like shit. They just
That's interesting because we do know that they mimic, and they mimic animals, and they mimic mamas and daddies, and
he was in the waters with you. He wanted to see if
yeah,
you would fall for that.
and it was
Like whenever me and my team do go in the woods, we take animal calls with us. And I would go and I remember it was about 3 months ago I heard him mimicking alcohol.
My son sitting.
And I was sitting up on a corner post listening to him. There was one to the east of me, one to the west of me down the hill. And I had an alcohol on my lanyard, and I got it right here, and I went, and next thing you know, that thing just let out a blood curdling scream because they knew I had him busted.
My son's out on the porch with me. He was out there for a ball one morning. He got it on his phone. He just dog started barking and going crazy.
oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I heard an owl call too when I was camping with Fred, and everybody, we had heard an owl call across the road earlier in the evening, and it wasn't. I mean, I was in Western Virginia, but I'm from Eastern North Carolina, but I know what owls sound like, and this was like who. Yeah. It wasn't an owl. And then at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, laying down, and in a tent at night, everything is dead quiet and pitch black. And I heard again, who, who. And it was just like, it was not an owl. You can tell. I mean, if you've heard, and I've heard owls my whole life, and this was not an owl earlier or later. It was not an owl. And I did experience that, and some chatter, and a tree knock, and a few other things. I won't, but whatever. But you can tell if you've been in the woods even a little, or if you were raised in the country, you you can tell. And yeah, the what I heard was not an owl, and I don't think anybody in the group had the money to hire somebody to go stand the hell out in the woods and do it. But anyway,
I'm a, I'm a
so
true outdoorsman. I'm in the woods 250 days out of the year. I'm always looking for ginseng. I'm always hunting. I'm always fishing. I'm always looking where to put my next deer stand and stuff like that. And I'm 21 years old, and I've been in the woods since I was able to walk. And my grandpa would take me in there. My grandpa taught me a lot of stuff, how to make all the animal calls and whatnot. And I know what is, how you can tell whenever a Bigfoot is imitating an owl and when it's not, because it sounds more guttural and it sounds it was higher in decibels.
Hey Zach, do you think this thunder giant has got a hold of that calf?
yeah, I want to know about that too.
There was no night. I think we found the camp the next day, and down in the creek at the bottom of Wildcat Mountain, and I looked over the calf. There was not hardly any sign of struggle, and the neck was broke clean in half.
That Zach, I had a question about that. Was when you said his neck was broke, but his head wasn't ripped off? But do you mean, or what? This that his neck was broke completely inside? Is that what you?
I ran what I did was I picked the head up with my right hand, and I ran my left hand down the neck on the spinal cord where the neck is, and
Yeah.
I was pinching along that back there, and all of a sudden my fingers come together underneath where the skin is, and my fingers
Yeah.
were come together, and I fell in there, and I could feel where the bone was shattered wherever it was broke.
So the flesh was intact, but the bone was disintegrated.
Yeah, it was all right.
Don't they call that what internal decapitation or something? It's like your head's still on your body, but everything in your neck is broke.
It is.
Yeah, but they didn't take it to eat or
I didn't take it. It was still there, and you could see some spot where because we found the way we found it was is we were counting we were taking a head count of our herd, and we knew one was missing. So me and Grandpa was running along in the bottom, where looking for it, and how we know whenever there's a cow or calf that's gone is whenever we can just find where the flock of turkey buzzards are.
Well, they probably just killed it and was coming back for it later on that night.
Yeah, most likely. There was no sign of struggle whatsoever. You know how a cat will take, mountain lion will take down
Oh
a
yeah,
calf,
he'll tear it up.
how a coyote will take down a calf, because the coyote will take, will go come down and fall back, or it'll eat out the hindquarters and eat it while it's still alive. Or in the case of a mountain lion, the mountain lion will bite down on the snoot and cause it to suffocate, or it'll bite it in the neck and crush its windpipe.
Yeah.
yeah.
I did a thorough examination of this calf's carcass, and there was no marks whatsoever, and it would more or less look like it was grabbed and just snapped its neck.
He was ambushed.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you say you lose about two. You say
They do this every freaking year.
yeah. That that's what I was gonna say. You say that y'all lose about two a year.
lose 1 to 2 a year. Sometimes there'll be a little calf, or it can be a full-grown cow.
Well, is it usually dragged off, eaten on? This
The thing is, they're all the 6 that we've lost in the last 3 years. They've all died in the same place, in the same area where I found that calf.
Yeah, but are they all intact, or are they?
They're intact wherever we find them, and whenever I do find a dead cow or calf, I'll go in there the same night, and I'll go in there at night time, and I'll go back to that place, and they're just gone.
I was
Whatsoever.
wondering why they would kill them if they're not going to eat them.
I do think they eat them if they go and they'll kill them and then they'll leave them there, and then they'll come back and take them off because I think they have off my property. I think they have a way where they can do that.
Well, yeah, but what do you think? If through the years they know you're going to go and drag the cow back home, would they learn we need to eat it because it's going to be gone tomorrow? Or maybe do they not have that much sense?
Yeah.
Who knows what
Yeah,
they do?
I don't know. I'm just
Who knows what they do?
ifing and button, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they know it's that it's human property. They probably leave it. They see what the humans are going to do, and if humans don't mess with it, then they take it. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Because originally what we do was we come with the tractor and we had a place where we would go and bury our dead livestock. We had a place,
Right.
up there in the property where we would bury our livestock. But every time we bury them, we'd come back and they would come down and dig them up.
Ah, there we go. That's the answer to the question.
So we just go and I find footprints down there, and it just got to the point where I said, "The heck with it, let's just let them out here and let the animals have them."
Yeah.
We're going to take them anyway. Most of the time, we didn't know it was Bigfoot, possibly dragging them off.
Lot easier.
That answers the question. If you bury them and they dig them up, or something digs them up, then that answers the question.
The only time they didn't take them off is when we buried the neighbor of ours horse.
They didn't eat a horse?
They did take the horse, but it did do some digging down by where the rib cage is, but it didn't take it.
Huh.
Now, that's another subject. That's interesting. That it seems to me, excuse me, seems to me they would drag it on off, but to wait and let you bury it and then go dig it back up. I don't know. That's another mystery yet to solve.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up on this our time. Do y'all have anything you want to bring up real quick before we end the show, or?
Me and the team's working on a documentary, and we're getting ready right now, actually, to go off and shoot part of it. So I'll keep you all up to date, let you all know what we find.
Well, we're definitely gonna get you back on here again.
I'll be back on anytime, guys.
Zach, you want to plug your show one more time?
Yes, be sure to, if you want, you have have an encounter to share, be sure to find us on Facebook at Southern Illinois Monster Hunters Team homepage. Share us with your friends and click that like button. If you have an encounter that you would like to tell us about and you don't want to message us on Facebook, look me up on Gmail at blimpsimh at gmail.com, and I'll be glad to interview anybody that has any encounters or evidence they'd like to share.
Oh, cool deal. All right, Steve, plug us.
Yes, I got a YouTube channel, Shaky Jr. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and please, if you want to leave a comment, leave a nice one.
Yes.
There's enough rudeness in the world.
And
every Saturday night between 8 and 9 o'clock for Backwoods Investigations, I will be hosting that show. I am booked all the way to October, which you actually come on the show, so
Good
sure
Lord.
tune in.
You're booked all the way until October.
wow.
You are a busy man.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Dale, do you know what we're going to do next week yet?
I have no idea, Steve.
We will post what next week's show will be sometime in the middle of the week when we get off our asses and decide what we're going to do.
Well, I'm busy.
I didn't say you. I said we.
I got a pig picking. I got.
I'm with you, mate. I said we.
Yeah, that's right. But
Anyway.
yeah, we'll post middle of the week.
Until next week, God bless. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. And y'all have a great weekend. God bless you all.
God bless everybody. Thank y'all.